Okay, so here we are in the terminal. I've already got the rough skeleton of my gem together. Got it uploaded to the Ruby Gems website. You can see it here. I'll take a look at it. What I'm going to be doing is called Rubedility. I don't know if you're familiar with the website Codility, but Codility offers lessons and challenges and tests and reading material and everything about language agnostic computer science type of tests. So you have like odd occurrences. Find the value that occurs in odd numbers of elements. Now, they just changed this recently. I was very excited to see this. You used to have to actually start the test in order to see what this problem actually was. But now you can click on that problem, and then you get to see, okay, so we're going to be going through an array and counting how many odd elements there are or something. You know, but this description is, if you can see, it's got a little bit of customization to it. And so when you change what language you're going to attempt your programming in, then it kind of it makes it look a little bit more like whatever language you're in, like whatever language you have it set to. So like C++ or like Python, or you can change it around, and then you get to see what you're going to be doing. So that's the only piece that's customized that I can see right now. But a lot of the other pieces have. Some of the other stuff has much more customization. So the human language actually is kind of cool. Oh, Chinese, interesting. So I thought it'd be really neat to have a command line interface to see the lessons in Ruby in the command line. So I'm going to be scraping these lessons over here, just the array of these lesson names, and they each have a URL. So let's just go to time complexity. So here we can see there's 3 different tests in there, each one with a different algorithm question and beginning or whatever. So if you look in the developer tools bin thing down here, you can see that it's actually hiding all the other ones, so they're all there. So when you choose whatever language you're using, there's actually not a lot that changes. If I can find it here. Lesson view, lesson box, current lesson, there we go. So task detail, description, there we go. So here we can see there's all these different elements that are already there. They just have it set to display none. So that's not going to affect us too much, because we're going to be going after this one right here, this guy, description RBN. That's Ruby in English. So if you open that up and go down into it, you can actually see the text of the lesson built in with all the paragraphs and everything. So we'll be scraping that out. We'll be pulling all the different pieces of the lesson together, and then just get to see what we can come up with. So what I want to start with is just going over the outline a little bit. So up here at the top, So up here at the top we have our Rubedility. So the command line, the gem is called Rubedility, and so that's the command you'll be entering through. That's the command line you'll be entering at the terminal. So what you want it to do in the high level is you want it to scrape the index to get the name and URL of all those lessons, and then it's going to scrape the lessons themselves, because then like here you go to this lesson URL, then you have different tasks, but you don't get to know the task details until you actually go to that task URL too. So it's 2 layers deep. So you got to scrape the index for the lessons, then you got to scrape the lessons for the tasks, and you got to scrape the tasks for the content. So then after you get all the information, when you initialize this, when you initialize the single instance of this class you're going to have, actually we should look at that now. Tab. So this is the actual command line executable. So it's just going to be require Rubedility, add that to your environment, and then you're going to say, yes, I want a new Rubedility, and that was just for testing right there when we started. So we'll come back to that. But then when it initializes and instantiates that Rubedility class. This Rubedility class here, it's going to scrape these three things, and then it's going to say a greeting, and then it's going to say, just give you a menu option. I separated those because I like having just a hey, hello, hi, how are you? But then you want to be able to display the menu separately if you want to see the menu again, see your options or whatever. So, welcome to Rubedility, your command line access point for Ruby flavored Codility lessons and tasks. So that's going to be displayed as soon as all the scraping is done, and then you can list a bunch of things. But those are the details we'll get to after we do the actual scraping. So here over in the lesson, I've copied in some of the stuff from the student scraping lab. So I want to go through this and kind of edit it and make sure that we're doing everything right. And then I want to do the same for the task here, and the same for the scraper, and then do some checking. So actually for the task, we can do, yeah, we'll come back to that. So it's just going to be me typing a bunch here. So I don't know if you want to put on some music or something. But I can, let's see how much we've got here. How long am I recording now already? 6 minutes. Wow, this is going to be a while. So if I'm narrating the whole time, it might be less boring, but I might get less done. So here, I'm just going to start coding away and stop narrating for a little bit and see. I might talk to myself a little bit and see. So scrape index and scrape lessons. So with the scrape index, what are we going to do? We're not going to do that. We're going to say scraper. Yeah, so I'm going to scrape the index page, but I'm going to create a bunch of lessons from it. Yeah, so I'm going to say lesson dot new. No, I'm going to say populate after scraping. I'm going to say populate from scraping. And I don't want no input like I thought I would. I want populate from scraping. Hash lessons hash. Maybe we'll just go ahead and change this. Lesson attributes. Lesson hash. So this is going to be an array of all the lessons. Every time we instantiate a new lesson, we're going to push it onto the stack. So we have self.all here. That way we can access all lessons that exist. And lesson attributes, lesson hash. Let's see how we want to do that. So we did with the student one, we scraped all their profiles, and then we scraped all their information into them. Yeah. So I'm going to instantiate a bunch of them with scraper, and I'm pretty sure we're just going to have this be constant of this one here. Oh no, sorry, lessons. Yeah. So we're going to scrape in this URL here. Lesson. Add. Physical. Populate from scrape. there we're scraping all our stuff. Yeah. So we're going to scrape the index page, index URL, open index. So lessons is empty one, index.css. We don't know any of that yet. Okay, so this is going to be a lesson. We don't know what this is going to be. It's probably going to be text though. Lesson name and lesson name, and we said we're going to have a number for those because they actually come in a specific order here. You don't have students who are just Joe. You have a student number, a lesson number. So then the number we're going to get from somewhere probably, and then the lesson URL, and then lessons.push. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to do tap this thing. Probably get the href from something, possibly, but we'll fix that. And then lessons.push. Name is name. Number is number. Lesson URL is lesson URL. And then return lessons. Okay, and then scrape. Oops. Lesson page. And we're going to get a sorry, bleep. Lesson URL. Lesson is extract it from the profile URL. Lesson not found, sure. Oops. Oh, sorry. Still not really. Oh, I don't have it. Make word. Sorry, I'm a aspiring Vim professional, I guess. That's there. AST, we'll leave that out. Just return nil, I guess. That was to catch those tricksy empty things. And I hope we have nothing as goofy as this. That was such nonsense. I did not enjoy that part. Sorry for the road noise. So then, lesson. It's going to be a hash of a bunch of stuff. What are we doing here? Scrape lesson page. Scrape lesson page. So when we're at a lesson page specifically, time complexity, we're going to be making tasks. So what we're going to do, Add lesson attributes. We're not going to worry about here. We're not going to worry about here. Turn layer right now. We just want to see it. So a task has a name. It has a difficulty. Oh, that was the other thing the lesson has is a reading. So a lesson. Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. This is what I actually wanted to do almost a year ago. Not even a year ago. 6 or 8 months ago. When I first did some Codility stuff, I saw these right here, and I was like, oh wow. What if you could track those numbers and see which lessons are the hardest, or most solved, or most unsolved, or whatever. And you'd obviously be dividing it per tasks. That's a good question. We're going to have a lesson is going to have a list of tasks. It's going to be empty. We're going to have to make an accessor method. Lesson, not all tasks. No. Let's see. What is this method? This method is, lesson.tasks. That exposes that guy. Okay. So a lesson is going to have a name and a number and a URL and a reading material URL. Got all that. Name, number, URL, reading material URL. Test passed. The test started and test solved, and then tasks.length. This guy is going to be that's going to be the number of tasks that are in there. That'll give you the number. So then you come over here to task. So a particular task. Oh, it has content. Obviously. This property, because I hate having instance stuff and class stuff on this direction instead of around. That's an instance array and that's a class array. So here we are. We're here at a task. Well, we want to track all the tasks because why is that? Oh, because student hash. I don't know what this is going to be. You want to keep track of all the tasks that exist. Yes. So push yourself onto the thing. Yeah, so that'll be, so a lesson will have a lesson will have an array of tasks. Yeah. Tasks array, create from collection. Sure, why not? But that's no longer students, that's tasks, and so each one is going to be a task. Task.new of task. It's not going to be an array. I don't want it to be an array. I want it to be a hash. Add task attributes if attributes hash isn't nil. This is for if the scraper gets a 404, it's scraping the lesson page. Yeah, okay, so we're scraping the index page, we're scraping the lesson page. So that means we're going to have a self.scrape task page. It's going to have a task URL. Then we're going to do the same 404 nonsense. Task equals here. And then we want to rescue. It's really the same thing. Rescue. Puts forward. And we'll put something with the okay. How are we doing on time? This just seems a little bit long. Let's get some results though. You should see some results and make sure that I can get results, because that's your job. You're here to make results. Make sure I can get results. So we're going to rescue the thing, and we don't really have, then we're going to return because it broke, but then we're going to say else do nothing. I think we can actually leave that off. We'll leave that for enhancements. So we're going to scrape a lesson with a lesson URL. With a lesson URL, we're going to extract the lesson using Codility. We're going to look at that too. We're going to look at our first. And that is not a lesson, that is a task. Rescue that error into error, and put it to the screen, and return nil, and then we're done. Then we're going to scrape a task page. We're going to say the task URL, and then we're going to do a bunch of stuff. Scrape index page, scrape lessons page. Yeah, so then the lesson is going to have a bunch of stuff. Lesson name, number, lesson URL. So then lesson, scrape lesson page, and we're going to get a bunch of information from the lesson. And then we're going to get a bunch of, then we're going to get a bunch of information from each task. We got to look at it first. We got to look at that, we got to look at that, and we got to look at this. So lessons, and it's here too. Oops. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, we are not actually going to want to do all these things because they don't all exist yet. We're going to want to get scraping the index correct first, and then scrape lessons and scrape tasks. So scrape lessons and scrape tasks, this doesn't exist yet, and this is where we're requiring our other things. So we get our other pieces, classes, whatever. Okay, so now we'll come out to the terminal here, and we'll say bin Clearly something's wrong. Scrape index. Scrape index less than top of scrape scraper dot new. Save it. Let's check our bin file. Rubedility. So you. Oh. Scrape index page. So now we should get to this finding right here. Let's try it again. Okay. Why is this not? So we don't have to instantiate a scraper. We use the scraper because we're just calling that class method. We don't have anything instancy inside here. So I don't know if this is what you guys want to see. I seem very boring now. Call scrape index. So this is our oh, maybe it's because okay. Stupid typo. This must be the most boring part of your job. Watching somebody else debug stuff. Because I made this before. Okay, so let's change that text and just see if it's updating here. No. Okay, so it's not. Okay, so it must be. Yeah, so it's pulling from gen. Yeah, so the gem is gone. Let's see if okay, so this is the part that I've never done before, building a gem. We built the gem with the guide. Let's go look at the guide and see what the guide has to say. So we regenerated the gem file. Built a new gem file. Oh, is it the stupid? Oh, scope it out. Okay. Scrape index and size constant in Rubedility number 29. 29. Scrape. Rubedility name error underscore constant. Rubedility scrape. Oh, you don't know who that is yet. Okay. Yes, okay. Require Rubedility scraper. Yeah, Rubedility. Oh. Ah, okay. So live scraper into Rubedility. Okay, and now what did they say? They said something. Yeah, Rubedility. Okay, so this is going to execute in lib, and it's going to pick up these other ones from Rubedility folder. Hey, we hit our binding. Alright, so let's look at our index. Meta. If IE. Okay, now we're in business. Let's go back over here and see what we want to pick up. I will say in my defense, though, in my defense for a second from now, this lessons 1 says iterations. It says lesson 1, and this is the default when you come to lessons. Sure. But let's click on this and see how goofy that is. It says 18 right there. I don't know why, but if you look down here at the bottom in the corner, you can see when I hover over all these ones, it says lesson 1 used to be time complexity, lesson 2 used to be counting elements. So I guess they added arrays and iterations before these or something, because I think these are new. Some of these are new lessons, I guess, maybe the caterpillar method, I'm not sure. I don't know. I did a bunch of these last year when I was doing my own course, but Learn is far, far better than just doing algorithms. But I can't say it was a waste of time. It was really good. So here are the lessons. Okay, so we've got lessons. What do we want? We want to know what lesson 1 is. Clear. Control-Shift-C. Let's talk about iterations. Div title. Who are you? Lesson item current. What do I really want though? I want lesson list. That sounds pretty darn good. Available lessons. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so they rearranged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 is now the end. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So they must have added them and not wanted to refactor everything. and they just figured out how to tag it as the first one. Okay, so we're gonna have, what are we gonna say? We're gonna say Steve is there. Steve is index social container that oh, well, let's see. Oh, what's let's do an error. I'm sorry. What do we have here? Lesson array. We do have it. Lesson array. Div dot. Well, that'll catch a lot. Div dot. What did I say? That's available lessons class. Lesson list. Yeah, I think we'll pull in an array of lesson list A's. Lesson list A. Actually, we'll not do that quite yet. So that is just an A link. But that has a div. Okay, that's a div inside a lesson. So we can pick up the lesson item current. Oh, is that going to be goofy? Oh, because current has the orange stripy do. Okay. So class num title. That's going to be super simple. Okay. Oh, you're nil. Okay, so lesson array is nil. Sure, why not? Why is it nil? My neighbor across the street keeps a bird in his garage, and it drives me absolutely insane. Sometimes. What do you want? You want lesson array. Why is lesson array nil? Because lesson array. Where are you? Why is that even? Oh, because we're inside the lesson class. You don't exist. How are you there? Who made you? Yeah, I made you. Anyway. Oh, okay, yeah. Lesson array equals blah. Okay, yeah, I made that. Okay. It's an empty thing, so now we're gonna push. Why do we need to push it? Dot lesson a next. Yes. This is the right thing, right? Over here. Children, head, take our thing, discovery ins and outs, writing lesson, style sheet, constantly teachers, forward, functions, okay. Available lessons. That's what we want. Lesson view, lesson box, lesson list. Oh, it is underscore. Okay. It's not a dash. It's an underscore. Okay. What are we trying to get? I want to get that word. Delete that title. Dang. Ah, here we go. Okay. Iterations, arrays, time complexity counting. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so really what we want to get is still don't understand that. Challenges, lesson lists. Where was lesson 17? There we go. Okay. Lesson current. Lesson 18. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll bet you know what it is. Oh, lessons, lessons, lessons. Ah, beautiful. Okay. Okay, and that's a massive amount of stuff. So let's just say dot CSS. Each, yeah, sure. No. CSS, DDD, anyway. Okay. And then dot text. Okay. So that gets me a giant string, which is not what I want. What am I going to be doing? I'm going to be scraping the index page. So I'm going to say index.css. Yeah, so I'm just going to say index.css. It's this for each lesson. I'm going to say so each lesson is going to be in this one that I just did. Div.lessons. Gotta get that second S. Lessons list. So then for each lesson, I'm going to do let's just try each. What's called text. No, each CSS lesson list. I still think we can work this out. Can you grab this? So let's just get out of there. Oh, okay. Unexpected dollar after stuff. Yeah, you don't care. Take it out of there. We'll put it in there. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so index is still our giant thing. Lessons. Mm. Why does this keep doing this? Rubedility, scraper, searchable, CSS parser, extras, parse, okay. Anyway, I think this will be installment 1, so you can clearly see that I'm getting it done. So I'm gonna do installment 2 and do the walkthrough from beginning to end whenever I get that right today. So goodbye and thank you. See you next time.